The arrival on. A clear morning, the skies over Earth were interrupted by a sight that would become the talk of the world. High above, a massive spaceship hovered silently, its dark, sleek surface reflecting the sunlight in eerie ways. The ship was unlike anything humanity had ever seen, a colossal craft, easily dwarfing the tallest buildings on Earth. It was a ship from the Galactic Empire, an advanced and mysterious force from the stars. In cities around the world, people looked up in awe and fear. The spaceship was clearly visible even from the ground, its size making it impossible to ignore. News stations across the globe broke into live broadcasts, showing the ship from every angle. Experts and commentators struggled to find words to describe the imposing craft. Inside the United Nations headquarters in New York, representatives from various nations gathered in an emergency meeting. The mood was tense. The ship's presence was a clear sign that something significant was about to happen. The UN Secretary-General, a calm and determined leader, addressed the assembly. "We've received a communication from the Galactic Empire," the Secretary-General began, his voice steady but his face showing signs of concern. "They are requesting permission to enter Earth for what they describe as diplomatic talks. We must decide how to respond." The room erupted into a flurry of voices. Some representatives advocated for welcoming the aliens, hoping for peaceful relations and possible benefits from their advanced technology. Others argued fiercely against it, fearing the Empire's intentions and the potential dangers of allowing them entry. Among the dissenting voices was Dr. Elena Moreno, a renowned scientist with years of experience studying extraterrestrial phenomena. She stood up, her expression grave. "We must remember our past encounters with alien species," she said. "Not all have had peaceful intentions. We don't know what the Empire wants, and we cannot afford to be naive." The debate continued for hours, with no clear consensus. Meanwhile, the Galactic Empire's ship remained in orbit, its massive hull casting a long shadow over the Earth. Despite the ship's immense size, it moved with an unsettling grace, as if it were a part of the sky itself. As the sun began to set, the representatives returned to their respective countries to consult with their leaders. The decision was clear: Earth would not allow the Galactic Empire's envoy to land. The risks were deemed too great and the potential consequences too severe. The next day, the Galactic Empire's ambassador transmitted a formal response to Earth's decision. The message was polite but firm. "We understand your decision," it said, "but we wish to assure you that our intentions are purely diplomatic. We hope that in time, we can build mutual respect and cooperation." The message was broadcast worldwide, sparking reactions ranging from relief to anger. Many people were relieved that Earth was standing firm against the unknown threat, while others were disappointed, feeling that the chance for new alliances and advancements had been lost. Back at the UN, the mood was somber. The Secretary-General addressed the media, trying to reassure the public. "We have taken a stand to protect our planet and our people. We will continue to monitor the situation closely and will take further action if necessary." As the days passed, the Galactic Empire's ship remained in orbit, its presence a constant reminder of the decision Earth had made. The sky seemed emptier without the constant scrutiny of the ship's dark hull, but the tension remained palpable. In homes and workplaces across the globe, people discussed the situation. Some felt uneasy, wondering what the Galactic Empire might do next. Others debated the moral and practical aspects of Earth's decision. The ship in the sky had become a symbol of both hope and fear, a reminder of the vast and unknown universe that lay beyond the boundaries of Earth. The Galactic Empire's response. The Galactic Empire's massive flagship hovered silently in Earth's orbit, casting an imposing shadow over the planet below. The ship's sleek, dark hull glinted in the sunlight as it drifted, seemingly unmoved by Earth's rejection. Inside the ship, the mood was anything but calm. The decision of Earth's leaders had sent ripples through the ranks of the Galactic Empire. In the heart of the Empire's command center, Emperor Zorath sat on his throne-like chair, his face a mask of frustration. Around him, high-ranking officials and military commanders gathered for an emergency meeting. The room was filled with tension, the air thick with anticipation. The Emperor's eyes scanned the room, seeking answers and solutions. "We have been denied entry," Emperor Zorath said, his voice cold and commanding. "This is an insult to the Galactic Empire. We must respond swiftly and decisively." The chief advisor, a tall figure with an ornate uniform, stepped forward. "Your Majesty, the Earth's refusal is unexpected, but it is not without precedent. We have faced similar situations before. We must choose our response carefully to avoid unnecessary conflict." The Emperor's gaze shifted to Commander Vakar, a stern-faced military leader known for his tactical brilliance. "Commander Vakar, what do you suggest?" Commander Vakar stood straight, his posture rigid with authority. "We should prepare a show of force," he proposed. "Not to attack, but to demonstrate our strength. This will make Earth reconsider their position. If they see that we are not to be trifled with, they may come to the negotiating table." The room buzzed with murmurs of agreement. The idea of showing strength was seen as a way to make Earth understand the seriousness of the situation without escalating into full-blown war. At the same time, in the Galactic Empire's diplomatic chambers, Ambassador Lyra, the envoy sent to Earth, was dealing with the aftermath of the rejection. She was known for her diplomatic skills and had hoped for a peaceful resolution. Now she faced the daunting task of managing the fallout from Earth's decision. Ambassador Lyra sat at her desk, her face illuminated by the soft glow of her holographic communication device. She sent a message to the Emperor, reporting on the situation from her perspective. "The Earth leaders have refused our request. Their stance is firm, and they have mobilized their defenses. However, I believe we still have options for negotiation. If we approach them differently, they might be willing to reconsider." The Emperor read the message and sighed deeply. His frustration was palpable, but he understood the importance of keeping diplomatic channels open. "Very well, Ambassador Lyra," he replied. "Continue your efforts. We must show that we are willing to negotiate, but also that we are not to be underestimated." Back on Earth, the decision to reject the Galactic Empire's request had sparked widespread debate. Some people felt relieved that their leaders had taken a firm stance, while others worried about the potential consequences. Governments around the world began to prepare for possible scenarios, including further attempts at diplomacy or even military conflict. In the meantime, the Galactic Empire's show of force was being carefully planned. A fleet of smaller, heavily armed ships was dispatched to orbit near Earth, their presence intended to demonstrate the Empire's capabilities. The fleet moved with precision and discipline, each ship a symbol of the Empire's power. On Earth, the arrival of these ships did not go unnoticed. The additional ships were clearly visible from the ground, and their appearance fueled both fear and curiosity. The media broadcasted the sight of the fleet, and people gathered to discuss what it might mean for their future. In the United Nations headquarters, a new meeting was convened to address the situation. The atmosphere was tense as representatives from different countries debated their next steps. The sight of the Empire's fleet had made the situation even more urgent. "We must not be intimidated," said Dr. Elena Moreno, echoing the sentiment of many who wanted to stand firm. "Our decision to reject their request was based on principle. We cannot allow ourselves to be swayed by their show of force." Others, however, argued that a different approach might be needed. "We must consider the possibility of escalating tensions," one representative cautioned. "Perhaps there is a way to negotiate without appearing weak. We need to find a balance." As the debate continued, the Galactic Empire's fleet remained in orbit, a constant reminder of the standoff between Earth and the stars. The situation was far from resolved, and both sides were preparing for whatever might come next. Ambassador Lyra continued her efforts to negotiate from the Empire's side, working tirelessly to find a solution that would avoid further conflict. Her messages to Earth were polite but firm, emphasizing the Empire's willingness to cooperate while also signaling that their patience was limited. The Galactic Empire's response to Earth's refusal was a complex mix of diplomacy and intimidation. The show of force was meant to demonstrate their power, but it was also a strategic move to keep the lines of communication open. The Empire's leaders understood that the situation was delicate and reckless. As Earth watched the Galactic Empire's fleet from below, the future remained uncertain. The rejection of the Empire's request had set the stage for a dramatic and potentially dangerous confrontation. The galaxy was watching closely, waiting to see how Earth and the Galactic Empire would navigate this challenging and high-stakes situation. Earth's preparation as the Galactic Empire's fleet hovered ominously in the sky. Earth's leaders knew they needed to act quickly and decisively. The refusal to allow the Empire's entry had already stirred a storm in the cosmos, and preparations for possible confrontation had become a top priority. The tension on Earth was palpable, with every nation bracing for what might come next. In the heart of the United Nations headquarters, the Situation Room was abuzz with activity. Military leaders, scientists, and diplomats worked side by side, each contributing their expertise to ensure Earth's readiness. Maps and holograms filled the room, displaying the positions of the Empire's fleet and the locations of Earth's defensive installations. General Marcus Reed, the head of Earth's defense forces, addressed the team with a sense of urgency. "Our primary goal is to ensure the safety of our planet and its inhabitants," he said, his voice firm. "We need to bolster our defenses and be prepared for any potential threats." The general's words set the tone for the intense work that followed. Engineers and technicians worked around the clock to enhance Earth's existing defense systems. They upgraded radar installations, strengthened satellite communications, and refined missile defense systems. The goal was to create a formidable barrier that would be difficult for the Galactic Empire to breach. Meanwhile, in military bases around the world, soldiers and pilots were put through rigorous training exercises. They practiced maneuvers and simulated scenarios involving advanced alien technology. The drills were designed to ensure that Earth's forces could respond quickly and effectively to any threat from space. At a top-secret research facility, scientists focused on understanding the Galactic Empire's technology. Dr. Elena Moreno, the renowned scientist who had previously advised the UN, led a team studying the alien ships. They examined the Empire's technology, looking for weaknesses and potential strategies for countering their advanced capabilities. "The Empire's ships are far more advanced than anything we have ever encountered," Dr. Moreno admitted, her brow furrowed in concentration. "However, there are patterns and systems we can analyze. If we can understand how their technology works, we might find ways to counter it." Dr. Moreno and her team worked tirelessly, using every resource at their disposal. They were determined to uncover any vulnerabilities that could be exploited. Every discovery was met with a mix of excitement and anxiety, as it was clear that the stakes were high. In addition to these efforts, Earth's leaders reached out to their allies. Nations that had previously cooperated in space exploration and defense were contacted for support. The situation was unprecedented, and the need for global unity was stronger than ever. The diplomatic channels were also kept open. Despite the Galactic Empire's show of force, Earth's leaders continued to send messages of negotiation and peace. They sought to avoid conflict if possible, but they were also clear about their stance. They would not compromise on their sovereignty. Public sentiment was mixed. Some people felt reassured by the preparations and the strong stance taken by their leaders. They believed that Earth's defenses were more than capable of handling the situation. Others, however, were anxious and fearful, concerned about the possibility of an all-out war with a powerful alien force. In cities across the globe, people followed the developments closely. News reports provided regular updates on the situation, and discussions about the Galactic Empire and Earth's response became common topics in homes, workplaces, and schools. The sense of uncertainty loomed large, and the public was eager for any news that might provide clarity. As the days went by, the preparations continued with unrelenting intensity. Military drills were conducted, technology was tested, and strategies were refined. Earth's forces were readying themselves for a potential confrontation, their resolve strengthened by the determination to protect their home. In the midst of these preparations, Earth's leaders remained hopeful for a peaceful resolution. They continued to emphasize their desire for diplomacy and cooperation, even as they prepared for the worst. The goal was to show strength while also keeping the door open for dialogue. The Galactic Empire's fleet remained in orbit, a constant reminder of the high stakes. The sight of the ships in the sky served as both a challenge and a motivator for Earth's defenders. Each day brought new developments and new challenges. In the end, Earth's preparation was not just about building defenses, it was about proving to themselves and to the galaxy that they were ready to face whatever challenges came their way. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear. Earth would not back down, and it was prepared to defend its sovereignty with all the strength and resolve it could muster. Diplomatic maneuvers. With the Galactic Empire's fleet still looming in orbit, the situation on Earth grew increasingly tense. The rejection of their request to land had prompted the Empire to prepare a show of force, while Earth had mobilized its defenses. Amid this backdrop of rising tension, the struggle for diplomacy took center stage. Ambassador Lyra, the Empire's envoy, was working tirelessly in the diplomatic chambers aboard the flagship. She was determined to find a way to resolve the situation peacefully, even as the political climate grew more strained. Her office was a flurry of activity, with aides and advisors constantly coming and going. The pressure was immense, but Lyra remained calm and focused. In a private meeting with Emperor Zorath, Lyra presented her plan. "Your Majesty, Earth's leaders are resolute in their decision. However, I believe there is still room for negotiation. We must adjust our approach to demonstrate goodwill and offer incentives that align with their interests." The Emperor listened intently, his expression a mix of frustration and curiosity. "What do you propose, Ambassador?" Lyra took a deep breath before responding. "We should extend a new offer that emphasizes cooperation and mutual benefit. We can propose a series of joint projects that would advance Earth's technology and economy. For example, we could offer to share knowledge on energy sources or medical advancements. Additionally, we could include a formal apology for any perceived threats our previous actions might have caused." The Emperor considered Lyra's proposal carefully. "Very well, Ambassador. Proceed with the new offer. However, ensure that our position is clear. We expect Earth to acknowledge our status and to cooperate with us as equals." Meanwhile, back on Earth, the leaders were grappling with the evolving situation. The UN headquarters was abuzz with activity as diplomats and advisors discussed their response to the Empire's new offer. There was a sense of cautious optimism, but also a prevailing anxiety about the potential consequences of accepting or rejecting the proposal. Dr. Elena Moreno, who had been closely following the developments, was part of the team analyzing the Empire's latest offer. "This proposal is significant," she said during a briefing. "The Empire is offering to share advanced technology, which could greatly benefit us. However, we need to ensure that accepting this offer does not compromise our sovereignty or security." The UN Secretary-General called for a high-level meeting to deliberate on the offer. Leaders from various countries gathered, each bringing their own perspectives to the discussion. The room was filled with a mixture of hope and apprehension as the leaders weighed the potential benefits against the risks. "The Empire's offer could be a turning point," one representative said. "It might be worth exploring further, especially if it can lead to a more stable and cooperative relationship. However, we must be cautious and ensure that we do not inadvertently weaken our position." Another leader voiced concerns about the potential for exploitation. "We should not be too quick to accept their offer without fully understanding their motives. The Galactic Empire has already demonstrated a willingness to use force. We must remain vigilant and protect our interests." The debate continued for several hours, with opinions varying widely. Eventually, the leaders agreed on a cautious approach. They would respond to the Empire's offer by proposing a series of preliminary discussions, focusing on specific areas of mutual interest while maintaining their stance on sovereignty and security. The UN Secretary-General prepared a response to Ambassador Lyra. The message expressed a willingness to engage in dialogue and explore the possibilities offered by the Empire's proposal, but it also emphasized the need for transparency and guarantees regarding Earth's safety and autonomy. As the message was sent, Ambassador Lyra received it with a sense of relief. She immediately began preparing for the next round of negotiations, knowing that this would be a critical moment in the unfolding drama. The response from Earth was a sign that diplomacy was still a viable option, and she hoped that it would pave the way for a peaceful resolution. In the Galactic Empire's command center, Emperor Zorath reviewed the response from Earth. His expression softened slightly as he considered the possibility of a successful negotiation. "It seems our approach has had some effect," he remarked. "Continue with the negotiations, Ambassador. We must remain firm but flexible and ensure that our interests are met." Ambassador Lyra worked diligently to set up the next round of discussions. She prepared detailed proposals and arranged for the exchange of information that would address Earth's concerns. Her goal was to build trust and demonstrate the Empire's commitment to a peaceful and mutually beneficial relationship. On Earth, the response to the Empire's offer was met with a mix of relief and continued skepticism. The decision to engage in preliminary discussions was seen as a positive step, but many remained cautious about the Empire's true intentions. The situation was still fragile, and the path to peace was uncertain. As the diplomatic efforts continued, the Galactic Empire's fleet remained in orbit, a constant reminder of the high stakes involved. The negotiations were a delicate dance, with both sides working to balance their objectives and find common ground. The future of Earth's relationship with the Galactic Empire hinged on these discussions. The outcome was still to be determined, but the willingness to negotiate and explore new possibilities offered a glimmer of hope. For now, both Earth and the Galactic Empire were committed to navigating the complexities of diplomacy, with the hope that they could find a way to coexist peacefully in the vast expanse of the galaxy. The first clash, the tense atmosphere that had hung over Earth and the Galactic Empire, reached a boiling point. Despite ongoing diplomatic efforts, neither side seemed willing to back down completely. As negotiations continued, a series of miscommunications and misunderstandings escalated the situation, leading to a dramatic and unexpected confrontation. It all started when a routine patrol by Earth's defense forces detected an anomaly near the edge of the Galactic Empire's fleet. A small group of Earth's advanced reconnaissance drones had ventured close to the Empire's ships to monitor their movements. These drones were equipped with high-tech sensors and stealth technology, making them nearly invisible to standard detection systems. However, the Empire's fleet was not without its own advanced technology. The drones were detected by a specialized sensor array aboard one of the Empire's smaller vessels. Commander Vakar, always alert and cautious, saw the presence of these unknown objects as a potential threat. "Report," Commander Vakar ordered sharply, his voice carrying the weight of authority. The officer at the sensor station quickly provided the details. "Commander, we have detected several unidentified objects approaching our fleet. They appear to be small and unmanned, possibly reconnaissance drones." Commander Vakar's eyes narrowed. "Increase readiness and prepare to intercept. We cannot allow any unauthorized surveillance." As the Empire's fleet began to mobilize, Earth's high command was also on edge. General Marcus Reed and his team were closely monitoring the situation. They had been informed of the detection but had not yet received any confirmation of hostile intentions. "We need to avoid any escalation," General Reed said to his staff. "These drones are meant for observation, not aggression. Contact the Empire and clarify the situation immediately." Unfortunately, before the communication could be established, the Empire's fleet took preemptive action. Several of their ships launched a series of warning shots at the drones, causing them to malfunction and lose control. The drones veered off course and crashed harmlessly into space. The sight of the drones being shot down was the catalyst for the first clash. The Empire's ships, now on high alert, interpreted the failure to communicate as a sign of hostility. They prepared their weapon systems and assumed a defensive posture, ready for a potential conflict. On Earth, the unexpected escalation caused widespread alarm. The UN Secretary General and military leaders scrambled to assess the situation and formulate a response. The decision was made to deploy a small task force to investigate and de-escalate the situation, but tensions were already running high. As Earth's task force approached the edge of the Galactic Empire's fleet, the situation rapidly deteriorated. The Empire's ships, mistaking the task force for an offensive maneuver, opened fire. The first salvo of energy beams struck the task force's lead vessel, causing significant damage but not incapacitating it. General Reed's face grew grim as he watched the live feed of the attack. "Return fire and defend yourselves. We need to protect our forces and ensure that this does not escalate further." The clash quickly escalated into a brief but intense exchange of fire. Earth's task force, equipped with advanced defensive systems, managed to hold its ground against the Empire's superior firepower. Both sides exchanged a flurry of energy blasts and projectiles, each side determined to assert their dominance. Despite the chaos of the battle, efforts were made on both sides to minimize casualties. The Empire's ships targeted the task force's non-lethal systems, while Earth's forces aimed to disable rather than destroy. The goal was to send a message of strength while avoiding unnecessary loss of life. In the midst of the clash, Ambassador Lyra continued her efforts to mediate. She desperately sought to communicate with Earth's leaders and the Empire's command, hoping to find a way to halt the violence. Her messages were filled with appeals for restraint and a reminder of the ongoing diplomatic negotiations. "Stop this senseless fighting," Lyra's message pleaded. "We must find a way to resolve this conflict through dialogue. Both sides stand to lose much more if this continues." On Earth, the task force's commander received Lyra's message and relayed it to General Reed. The general was torn between continuing the fight and halting the engagement to prevent further escalation. The decision was difficult, but the message from Lyra provided a glimmer of hope. "We need to de-escalate immediately," General Reed decided. "Cease fire and attempt to establish communication with the Empire. We must show that we are willing to resolve this through dialogue." The order was given and Earth's task force ceased fire. The Empire's ships, initially confused by the sudden halt in aggression, soon followed suit. The battlefield grew quiet and both sides began to assess the damage and regroup. Ambassador Lyra's persistence paid off as communication channels were reopened. She arranged a high-level meeting between the Empire's command and Earth's representatives to address the incident and discuss the next steps. The meeting was held in a neutral space station, chosen to ensure a safe and controlled environment. During the meeting, both sides expressed their frustration and concerns. The clash had underscored the dangers of miscommunication and the need for clearer protocols to prevent future conflicts. Both the Galactic Empire and Earth agreed to work on improving communication and establishing a framework for conflict resolution. The first clash between Earth and the Galactic Empire was a sobering reminder of the fragility of peace in the face of high-stakes diplomacy. It had shown that even small misunderstandings could lead to significant consequences. However, it also demonstrated the commitment of both sides to find a way to resolve their differences and avoid further violence. As the meeting concluded, there was a sense of cautious optimism. The first clash had been a wake-up call, highlighting the urgent need for continued dialogue and cooperation. Both Earth and the Galactic Empire were determined to learn from the incident and work towards a more stable and peaceful future. The turning point. The clash between Earth and the Galactic Empire had set the stage for a critical turning point. With both sides now fully aware of the potential for escalation, the focus shifted to finding a resolution that could prevent further conflict. The incident had created an atmosphere of urgency and reflection on both sides. In the aftermath of the skirmish, Earth's leaders and the Empire's command worked tirelessly to address the growing crisis. For the first time, both sides began to genuinely consider the possibility of a lasting peace. The immediate priority was to de-escalate the situation and rebuild trust, which had been severely tested. On Earth, General Marcus Reed and his team were reassessing their strategy. The recent clash had highlighted the need for better communication and clearer protocols to prevent misunderstandings. The general called for a meeting with his top advisors to discuss their next steps. "We need to approach this situation differently," General Reed said, addressing his team. "The recent battle showed us that we can't rely solely on military might. We need to focus on diplomacy and work towards building a foundation of trust." Dr. Elena Moreno, who had been analyzing the Empire's technology and intentions, nodded in agreement. "We should use this opportunity to open a channel for direct communication. Establishing a clear line of dialogue could help us avoid future conflicts and address the underlying issues." Meanwhile, Ambassador Lyra, who had been at the forefront of the diplomatic efforts, was determined to turn the tide in favor of peace. She worked closely with her team to draft a proposal that addressed Earth's concerns while offering concrete steps towards cooperation. The proposal included several key elements: establishment of a peacekeeping committee, A joint committee composed of representatives from both Earth and the Galactic Empire would be created to oversee ongoing negotiations and address any potential conflicts. Exchange of information. Both sides would agree to share information about their respective technologies and military capabilities. This transparency was intended to build trust and reduce the risk of misunderstandings. Humanitarian collaboration. The proposal included plans for collaborative projects that would benefit both sides, such as joint research initiatives in medicine and energy. These projects aimed to demonstrate the potential for mutual benefit and goodwill. Regular communication channels. A dedicated communication network would be established to ensure that any issues or incidents could be addressed promptly and effectively. Ambassador Lyra presented the proposal to the Galactic Empire's leadership, including Emperor Zorath. The Emperor was initially skeptical, but Lyra's persistence and the clear benefits of the proposal began to sway his opinion. "This proposal is ambitious," Emperor Zorath said after reviewing the details, "but it also offers a potential path to stability. We must carefully consider each element and ensure that it aligns with our interests." The Empire's command team deliberated over the proposal, weighing its potential impact. After several intense discussions, they agreed to accept the proposal in principle, with some modifications. The key changes included additional safeguards to ensure that both sides' interests were protected. With the proposal tentatively accepted, both sides prepared for a crucial series of meetings. These meetings would serve as a test of their commitment to peace and cooperation. The first meeting was scheduled to take place at a neutral space station, designed to facilitate open and honest discussions. As the day of the meeting approached, there was a sense of cautious optimism on both sides. The previous clash had shown the dangers of miscommunication, but it had also highlighted the potential for resolution. Both Earth and the Galactic Empire were eager to demonstrate their willingness to move beyond conflict. The meeting commenced with representatives from Earth and the Galactic Empire gathering in the conference room. The atmosphere was tense but hopeful, with each side prepared to discuss the proposal and address any remaining concerns. Ambassador Lyra opened the meeting with a statement of intent. "We are here to build a future of cooperation and understanding. The recent clash was a wake-up call, reminding us of the high stakes involved. Let us use this opportunity to lay the groundwork for a lasting peace." General Reed, who had joined the meeting to represent Earth, echoed Lyra's sentiments. "We recognize the importance of clear communication and mutual respect. The proposal outlines a path forward that can benefit both sides. Let us work together to make this a reality." The discussions were thorough and at times contentious, as both sides addressed their concerns and negotiated terms. Despite the challenges, there was a genuine effort to find common ground. The creation of the Peacekeeping Committee was a significant step forward, as was the agreement to share information and collaborate on humanitarian projects. By the end of the meeting, a tentative agreement had been reached. Both sides committed to implementing the key elements of the proposal and to maintaining open communication. The Peacekeeping Committee was officially established, and plans for the joint research initiatives began to take shape. The agreement marked a significant turning point in the relationship between Earth and the Galactic Empire. It signaled a shift from confrontation to cooperation, and both sides were determined to honor their commitments. The hope was that this new approach would lead to a more stable and harmonious coexistence. As the representatives departed the space station, there was a sense of relief and optimism. The path to peace was still uncertain, but the progress made during the meetings offered a glimmer of hope. Both Earth and the Galactic Empire had taken a crucial step towards resolving their differences and building a foundation for the future. The turning point had arrived, and with it came the opportunity for a new chapter in the relationship between Earth and the Galactic Empire. The journey ahead would require continued effort and dedication, but the commitment to peace and cooperation was a promising sign for what lay ahead. Resolution and aftermath. The resolution between Earth and the Galactic Empire was a turning point that brought with it both relief and renewed hope. After months of tension, conflict, and negotiations, the two sides had managed to forge a path toward peaceful coexistence. The aftermath of their agreement would set the stage for a new era of cooperation and mutual respect. In the weeks following the agreement, the Peacekeeping Committee was formed and began its work. Composed of representatives from both Earth and the Galactic Empire, the committee was tasked with overseeing the implementation of the agreement and addressing any emerging issues. The committee's first challenge was to establish effective communication channels and build trust between the two sides. On Earth, General Marcus Reed and his team were focused on integrating the new protocols and ensuring that the agreements were honored. The general visited various military and diplomatic facilities to brief personnel on the new procedures and emphasize the importance of cooperation. "We've come a long way from the brink of war," General Reed said during a briefing. "Our goal now is to ensure that we build on this progress and create a lasting peace. It's crucial that we adhere to the agreements and work closely with our counterparts in the Empire." Dr. Elena Moreno, who had been instrumental in analyzing the Empire's technology, was also involved in the implementation process. She worked with scientists and engineers to initiate joint research projects, focusing on the areas outlined in the agreement. The initial results were promising, with both sides making strides in medical and energy technologies. At the Galactic Empire's command center, Emperor Zorath and his advisors were equally committed to making the new arrangement work. The Empire's fleet remained in orbit, but its posture had shifted from one of aggression to one of cooperation. The Emperor held regular meetings with his commanders to ensure that the agreement was being implemented effectively. "Earth has shown that it is serious about peace," Emperor Zorath remarked to his advisors. "We must honor our commitments and demonstrate that we are trustworthy partners. Our future depends on this cooperation." One of the first tangible results of the agreement was the successful launch of a joint research project focused on energy generation. Scientists from both Earth and the Empire collaborated to develop a new type of reactor that promised to revolutionize power production. The project was a symbol of the potential benefits of their cooperation and a step towards a brighter future for both sides. The humanitarian projects also began to take shape. Teams from Earth and the Empire worked together on medical research initiatives, aiming to improve treatments for diseases and enhance overall health care. The shared knowledge and resources were making a significant difference in both societies. However, the path to peace was not without its challenges. The Peacekeeping Committee faced ongoing issues, including occasional disputes and misunderstandings. These issues required careful handling and quick resolution to prevent them from escalating. Ambassador Lyra played a crucial role in managing these challenges. She continued to work tirelessly to facilitate communication and address any concerns that arose. Her dedication was instrumental in maintaining the momentum of the agreement and ensuring that both sides remained committed to their goals. "There will always be obstacles along the way," Lyra said during a committee meeting. "But it is our responsibility to address them promptly and work together to find solutions. Our progress depends on our ability to navigate these challenges with patience and cooperation." As time passed, the initial tension between Earth and the Galactic Empire began to wane. The successful implementation of the agreements and the positive outcomes of the joint projects helped to build a stronger foundation for their relationship. Both sides started to view each other with a new sense of respect and understanding. Public sentiment on Earth shifted as well. The news of the successful agreements and the benefits of cooperation with the Galactic Empire were met with optimism and hope. People began to see the potential for a brighter future and a new era of interstellar relations. In the Galactic Empire, the resolution was also met with approval. The Emperor's decision to pursue peace was seen as a wise and forward-thinking move. The positive results of the joint projects and the improved relations with Earth bolstered the Emperor's reputation and reinforced the Empire's commitment to diplomacy. As the months went by, the relationship between Earth and the Galactic Empire continued to strengthen. The Peacekeeping Committee played a key role in addressing any issues that arose and ensuring that the agreements were upheld. The joint projects flourished, bringing tangible benefits to both sides and solidifying their partnership. The resolution between Earth and the Galactic Empire marked the end of a tumultuous chapter and the beginning of a new era. The lessons learned from the conflict and the subsequent agreement provided valuable insights into the complexities of interstellar diplomacy. Both sides had demonstrated their willingness to work together and had reaped the rewards of their efforts. Looking ahead, the future of Earth and the Galactic Empire was filled with possibilities. The commitment to peace and cooperation opened the door to further advancements and shared achievements. The partnership was a testament to the power of diplomacy and the potential for positive change in the galaxy. In the end, the resolution between Earth and the Galactic Empire was not just a conclusion to a conflict, but a new beginning. It was a reminder that even in the vast expanse of space, understanding and collaboration could bridge the gap between worlds. The journey towards peace had been challenging, but it had ultimately forged a bond that would shape the future for generations to come.